Dr. Paul Cleveland. I'm with Boundary Stone, and we're trying to help you navigate your way through a confusing world. Today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about our national debt. You know, is the fact that we're $21 trillion in debt and it's climbing, does that worry you at all? I mean, a lot of people tell you not to worry about it. They'll say such things as, well, we owe it to ourselves. Or, well, look, you know, if you think about our national debt, yeah, it's big, but we have a huge economy. And that's true, we do. Our economy is really quite large, and we produce a lot every year, you know. I don't know, what, 16, 17 trillion dollars or so. And so being able to manage a debt when you're generating a lot of income, well, okay, that's there. But is it a problem? Well, I think sometimes we get confused by the numbers. I mean, you know, how much is $1 trillion? I mean, is that an insignificant sum? One of the analogies that I like to use when I'm talking about our debt and how much $1 trillion is to consider John the Baptist, you know. Let's suppose he had tired of being God's prophet, you know, running around wearing animal skins, eating locusts and honey, and had preferred to live the lifestyles of the rich and the famous by consuming $1 million worth of this world's goods every day. And I tell people, well, he'd still be spending money today and would not yet have gone through $1 trillion. It would take well into the third millennium, 2,730 some odd years to spend through $1 trillion. And yet our government's going to blow through about $3.5 trillion this year, and then we're going to go into debt deeper. And so let's think about this one for a moment. Do we really owe it to ourselves? Now, look at the process that we're going through. Every week in this country, the Treasury auctions off 90-day and 180-day Treasury bills, those short-term debt, to pay for overspending. So they're consistently having to raise more and more and more money. Some just to pay off those Treasury bills that are coming due, and then more to pay for the unfunded spending that our government is engaging in. Then occasionally they also issue 270-day and 360-day T-bills, so the 9-month and 1-year T-bills. And so that's going on as well in the country. So a lot of our debt, a lot of that 21 trillion is financed in a short-term way. And then they also issue some longer-term debt, Treasury notes and bonds. Well, who buys this? Well, a lot of people buy it. Those institutions that have created money market accounts, undoubtedly they're buying up some of these T-bills, and so there they are. But a big buyer is our own Federal Reserve. They buy up a lot of this debt in a process called monetizing the debt. And so as they go in and they buy it up, well, where do they get the money to do this? Well, effectively, they just print it up. Actually, you know, they don't even need ink in a printing press or paper anymore. It becomes an electronic entry as a new deposit in the banking system. And it's just, boom, there it is. Now, I bet you wish you had that power. If you could just automatically increase the size of your checking account. Well, you don't have that power, but the Federal Reserve does. And not only that, but there's some other big buyers out there of our debt, namely other central bankers around the world, including the Asian central bankers. David Stockman referred to these Asian central bankers as monetary roach motels. Our bonds check in, but they don't check out. And so, you know, we've got U.S. government debt around the world. Now, these Asian central bankers did it because they're really practicing a form of mercantilism. If you don't know what mercantilism is, check out some of our work. We deal with it pretty effectively. At any rate, the idea that, oh, we owe it to ourselves, no, we owe it to whoever's got to pay for it. is who's and they got to pay it to somebody, is the reality. And the truth be told, our children and grandchildren are on the hook for a lot of this, and we ought to just face reality. So the notion that, yeah, we just owe it to ourselves, that's euphemistic and pretty much nonsensical, I'm afraid. So anyway, Dr. Paul Cleveland, I hope this clears some things up. We're trying to provide some resources to equip you to engage the world that you live in. I'll see you next time.